There is so much happening at Impact that I had to take some time and personally share with you all that God's doing. First of all, we just finished our second golf tournament, and it was an amazing time. We had guys there who'd never heard about Impact, and we were able to sit down at the holes, myself and Al Hassler, a big shout out to Al, and he's been on about 8 or 9 projects with us. We'd share what's happening in those villages because they're giving and sharing and raising money for clean water. We raised $15,000 or $20,000. All the total's not in yet, but it was a great success to help underwrite a complete project. But second of all, we just finished our last water project about 2 weeks before the golf tournament. It was an amazing time. Not only we bring clean water, but the head of the village and the head of the water board, the same person, are Rhodey's first cousin. They weren't really connected. He wasn't a believer. He's got a wife, and he had an 8-year-old daughter. So he came in on Thursday night there, and he said, Rhodey, would you come to my house and would you pray for my daughter? She's got parasites. The fever's eating her up. We've given her some medicine. We can't break the fever. So he said, sure, I'm going to bring Alexis with me. So addendum, the girl the next morning was almost totally well. It was really an amazing story. But even more than that, when they got there, Rhodey looks at Alexis and said, Alexis, would you give your testimony? And Alexis shared his story about how unfaithful he was and how he was playing church and he really wasn't living for the Lord, and how God completely turned him around. He shared all this with his wife and how God restored their marriage. He looked over and Rhodey's cousin's wife was just crying, and there was tears coming down even his cousins. And after the testimony, and after they'd been there for 6 weeks sharing, the wife and the husband looked at Rhodey and said, we want to give our lives to Christ. We see what you have in your life. See, that's the power of the gospel, of being the gospel in the community. And that's happening over and over and over again with our guys. There's the third thing that happened. It's really neat. We're building a complex close to Rhodey's house that will sleep 25 to 30 people, and we're almost finished with it. Now here's the amazing thing. We bought a Starlink, which cost us, $65 a month. We've got a television and a computer there. And all these guys gather, they're at this conference ground. It'll be finished this next week. And we'll be able to tune them in from our office. And Jose will be able to train our gospel planting team right from the United States and do that every other week or once a month, whatever we decide to do. And that technology is amazing. And it's going to bring us to the next level, which brings us to the last thing that we're really overwhelmed with. About 2 years ago, we'd kind of reached a point where we weren't making a lot of progress. And we were introduced to an organization called New Generations. The head of that's a Dallas Seminary graduate and been a missionary since 2003. And it's been amazing what's happening there. They have over 220 movements of the gospel all over the world with functionally illiterate people, just like the ones we work with. They've had some of the guys who have gotten 5 and 6 generations of disciples who've come to Christ, and literally hundreds and thousands of people. And so we connected with us, and they gave us a very simple plan and introduced us to all this material, and it's been amazing what's happened in Honduras because of that. Well, I met with this guy personally 2 weeks ago. It kind of blew my mind. He said, Mark, look, I know what you're doing. I know the things you're going through and the problems that face you. And I know that you've gotten some great answers. But let me tell you, if you would bring your staff to Nairobi this next week, you'll see people from over 20 nations and over 200 guys who've been very successful already, dealing with the same kind of people you do. So Friday, we get on a plane, Jose, myself, and Jeff, go to Nairobi for about 6 or 7 days to be a part of a collaborating conference where we can take Impact to the next level with the gospel planting. I just want to tell you, God's at work. It's amazing to me to sit back at my age, 76 years old and soon be 77, and see all of the ways in which God is changing people's lives. giving people clean water, and affecting the guys from America that go with us. Thanks for supporting us. Thank you for helping us change the life of a village and the heart of a man.